Okay, right, let's kick off officially, everybody. Thank you so much for logging in. My name is Sophie Shrubsole. I'm one of the team at Westminster Business Council. And for those of you that don't know Westminster Business Council, we're a business connections agency, and we help solopreneurs, SMEs and corporate organisations with access to business intelligence, valuable content, lots of events, and crucially introductions to your next customers. So today we're joined by Gus Bundle of the M Guru, who's here to help us make some really valuable tweaks to our LinkedIn profiles, and he's going to help us get on the right path to using LinkedIn successfully. So just a little housekeeping before we start. I think everyone's on mute at the moment, and we'll keep it that way just as we go through Gus's initial presentation, but please do keep those questions in mind that you've got for him. Gus is going to be talking for about 15-20 minutes, and then there'll be lots of time for Q&A, because I'm sure all of you will use LinkedIn differently, whether that's your own personal profile, whether you've got company pages, whether you're using it to raise funds for a charity or growing your small business. So we'll have lots of Q&A opportunity so that we can make this really tailored for you as well. At about 3:45, we're going to have some time for networking as well. There's lots of people on this call, so anyone that wants to stay and network and promote their business, please do stay along for that. So Gus, I am going to hand it over to you to wow us with your LinkedIn knowledge, please.
Thank you so much, Sophie. Well, wow is probably a strong word, but anyway, let's not be too self-defacing right now. So my name is Gus Bandel. My business is called the M Guru, and M stands for marketing. I know it took me ages to come up with that name. Basically, I've been doing marketing for well over 20 years, around 25 years. I've been in the world of social media. I don't want to say since the early days, because I wasn't an early adopter, but I've been on LinkedIn since about 2006. It started in 2002, so I've been on it for quite a while. So as Sophie said, what we're going to do now is I'm going to go into a presentation. It's a screen share. We're going to, it's a slide deck, as the kids call it nowadays. It's just PowerPoint, right, for the rest of us. I'm going to go through a few slides all about LinkedIn. It's going to be how to set up your profile, the great things that you should be doing, creating content, when you should post that content, etc., etc. It's focusing on personal profiles, but it is applicable to company profiles as well. But the important thing is that I'm going to blast through the slide deck, PowerPoint presentation, so that we can essentially have plenty of time for Q&A, because we will all use LinkedIn differently. The most important thing is that the way we should all be using it is we all have to show off our best selves, right? So just the main tip on LinkedIn is always be yourself. Okay, so I know we connect to lots of people. We look at other people's LinkedIn profiles and think, why are they posting that, or news about this, or they're bragging about their 7-figure business, etc. And then going on Clubhouse and doing the same thing. That's a whole different presentation. But basically, you can only ever be yourself on LinkedIn, and I think that's the important thing. So if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to go straight into my screen share. I should have said, actually, so I can only see some of you on screen, obviously, while I'm doing this. So if anybody does have any questions, just obviously you can either pop them in the chat and I'll come back to them at the end of the presentation, or indeed save them for the end of the presentation itself. So for those of you who remember Bill and Ted, if you're old enough like me, I'm old enough to remember the original TED Talk. It was most excellent. I've been doing marketing for 25 years, as I said. I've worked for some of the world's biggest companies. I've ran a couple of my own businesses, including my digital marketing agency that I run today, and I've been running for a few years. Contents today, we're going to be talking about how to use LinkedIn to grow your brand. So writing the perfect headline, making the most of the prime real estate, getting prospects to click see more, bringing your potential clients to you, the 70-30 content rule, and the sweet spot of timing. Although this is generally the presentation that I'm delivering, if you have any LinkedIn questions related to this presentation or anything else on LinkedIn, then please do ask me at the end. Right. In 2020, this is what's happening. Now, as you can probably see, this is what happens every 60 seconds. But as you can probably see, LinkedIn is missing because LinkedIn don't like to provide too much data to the world. But basically, LinkedIn is just another social media platform, and everybody uses social media so we can essentially converse with each other, promote our businesses, get engagement, talk to audiences, etc. To use Facebook as an example, every 60 seconds, 1.3 million people log into Facebook. There's 3 billion users worldwide of Facebook. On LinkedIn, we have 722 million users. The reason I put this slide up is to essentially say, if you have good content and it's engaging content and you're talking to your audience and it resonates with your audience, it's going to be good content no matter what. If it's bad content, if nobody's really interested, etc., you're just going to get lost in the noise, and then you're going to say, well, why is nobody reading my stuff? And it's because it's boring content. Just remember one thing: what's boring to you may not be boring to somebody else, and vice versa. So as I said, you can only ever be yourself. When you're posting content, you can only ever be yourself and post content that you would like to read. So we have here, internet usage is up, screen time is up, and obviously now in a pandemic, we're all at home scrolling our phones, right? For those of you who know Darwin's theory of evolution, that's, I think in the appendices he wrote, the reason for thumbs is social media. He didn't really, don't go to the library to get any Darwin books. He didn't write that. But basically, yeah, I think we scroll like 500 feet a day on our mobile phones, just using our thumbs, which is ridiculous when you think about it. I should have thinner thumbs. But anyway, the point is that you have to create good content to get into that, to make sure that you're not amongst the noise, as it were. Yeah, so the first bit of LinkedIn. So regardless of how long you've been on LinkedIn, whether you just started to set up a profile today or whether you've been on it for the last 10, 15 years, the most important thing is your headline. Now, there's lots of people, me, John Esperian, Helen Pritchard, lots of various LinkedIn trainers that teach you different things on how to use your headline. I always recommend people have the first 5 words. For those of you who are old enough to remember Ron Seal, it's always about the Ron Seal marketing strategy. Okay, it has to do exactly what it says on the tin. If you don't know who Ron Seal are, ask your parents. Basically, there's various ways of writing your headline, but the first 5 words are the most important. So my first 5 words are social media and digital marketing. Surprise, surprise, that's exactly what I do for a living. So whatever you do for a living, use those first 5 words. So could be anything. If you're a photographer and a videographer, those 2 words should feature in the first 5 words. Because when you like content, when you share content, when you comment on other people's content, when they see your profile, they see 4 things. 3 things. They see your profile picture, your name, and your headline, the first part of your headline. So the first 5 words should be exactly what you do for a living. And as you can see there, the rest of my line is basically who I do it for and how I do it. So management and training for small businesses, helping with content, strategy, implementation, and analysis. I've since updated that to basically say that I also save people time. So essentially what I do, who I do it for, how I do it, and what you get out of working with me. Now, you only have 220 characters to add that in. So it's like a tweet, right? So you have to be really concise. So what I do, social media and digital marketing, who I do it for, management and training for small businesses, what I do, content strategy and implementation and analysis, and then obviously I save companies time so that they can concentrate on their business. I manage their social media so they can spend more time on their business. So the most important bit is the first 5 words. Like I said, other people teach, there's no right and wrong way, but in my opinion, the first 5 words are the most important. So there's no, you shouldn't necessarily start with, I help businesses with, or I help small businesses with, because when other people see your content, you've lost them already because they can't see the rest of the sentence, okay? So the first 5 words are the most important. You'll see there also, there's a little audio kind of a speaker symbol. If you log into LinkedIn on your mobile, you can actually add 10 seconds worth of audio. And it was designed for essentially people who have don't have the best vision, or indeed people who have names that are difficult to pronounce. Now, obviously, hopefully everybody knows how to pronounce the Gus, but in mine, I've said a little bit more. So my name is Gus. I'm the social media, I'm the marketing guru. I can help your business, kind of thing. So you have 10 seconds to, so it doesn't have to be just your name. So you have 10 seconds to tell people exactly what you do, and just, something that, I know some people who kind of add music in the background. My brother, for example, do you remember the song Dreams by Gabrielle? He's kind of added that. And then so it's like dreams can come true. And then right at the end is like, if you want to speak to me, give me a call, I'll make your dreams come true, or something equally ridiculous like that. My brother loves the sound of his own voice even more than I do, weirdly. So first 5 words, add the audio. Just so you know, my name is in capitals there because I filter out automated messages. I get a shed load of messages in my DMs basically saying, "Hi Gus, I can sell you cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin, or please buy these automated services," or etc. Nothing wrong with people selling, of course, but when it's automated, I can tell a mile off. So it helps me filter the messages, which means if somebody contacts me and they've used an automated service, it will automatically put my name in capitals. So I know it's automated, so I just delete it, basically. So one piece of advice: don't use automation on LinkedIn. That's my advice. Now, the next bit is the prime real estate. It's your banner at the top. As you can see there, I've said Canva. Most people know how to use Canva. If you never heard of Canva, it's basically, for want of a better phrase, it's like the poor man's graphic designer, basically. There's no substitute for a proper graphic designer, but Canva, you quite literally go to Canva, create an account, just type in LinkedIn banner, and it will give you the exact dimensions to, for a LinkedIn banner. If you're using the basic LinkedIn banner, you're losing prime real estate. This is where, when people come to your profile, this is where they see things. So, for those of you who know me, that orange laptop is the same laptop that's on the home screen of my website, for example. But I've put my logo, I've put my, essentially what I do for a living, and my website. It's not clickable, so you can't click on that to take you to my website, for example. But you can see everything there. So here's my logo. This is what this guy does. Oh, I'll go to his website, I'll type that out, etc. So use Canva, create yourself a great banner, basically. And you can upload logos and brand colors and all the rest of it, etc. If you're using the standard LinkedIn one, get rid of it. So as I put there, my logo, my website, my strapline, my brand colors, I've used Canva to do that, okay? Actually, just while I'm here. So 2 things there you can see on the right-hand side. This is my experience, the marketing guru. So that's my current company, and the CIM, that's my last place of education. So I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I have taken a couple of postgrad qualifications with them. It's on my LinkedIn profile. And then obviously my current company is the marketing guru. They don't have to be there. If you don't want people to know your current company or know your last place of education, you literally, you basically go to the settings at the top of your LinkedIn, just click settings, and you can switch them on and off. The most important thing that people should see is your banner, your profile picture. Make it a nice profile picture, okay? Not, when you remember those days when you used to go to Ibiza and you've got a cocktail in your hand and all your friends are there and you've cut them out so it looks like you're standing against a brick wall and stuff. Get rid of those photos. Make it kind of as nice as possible. Most modern phones can take good photos. Mine's a professional headshot, but it's long story. But anyway, the main thing is make it a nice photo. Make sure you put your name. Obviously, I've had an emoji for those who can't see that screen. That's actually a guy in a turban as opposed to like a little tooth or something like that. It looks much better on mobile. And then obviously your headline. Your first 5 words are the most important, but basically what you do, tell people what you do, how you do it, and what they get from working with you, okay? The next section below that is your about section. Now, this is where you want prospects to click see more, okay? So as people land on your LinkedIn profile, they'll see your about section and they'll see the first 3 lines as there. So my 3 lines are basically, excuse me, again, it's an elongated version of my headline. So this is what I do. Isn't your time better spent on what you're good at? I can help you with this, this, and this. Excuse me. So, excuse my slurping, by the way. My wife just made me a ridiculously hot cup of tea. So, 3 lines, tell people exactly what you do for a living and how you help them. you want to encourage people to click see more so they can see everything else. Okay, once they click see more, they automatically become a kind of a warm lead, as it were. But obviously you don't know who's click see more until somebody contacts you, right? But I know, like, obviously I've put there what I do. Some people ask questions, so you could say, does your business need this, this, and this? Can you do this, this, and this? You know, something where you can answer the question, and then when they click see more, they get the answers to those questions. If you're a photographer, you know, does your business need better photography, or you know, or something much more better than much better than that? But basically, you can either ask questions or you can tell people exactly what you do and encourage them to click and see more. Now, it's more or less war and peace. I think you can write something like 2,000 characters or 3,000 characters in the about section. What I would suggest is keep it concise. And here's the most important thing: add a call to action. Excuse the acronym there. I don't know why there's an acronym. It should say call to action, but add a call to action. I've seen far too many about sections where you don't tell people how to contact you. So if people have bothered to come to your LinkedIn profile and they've bothered to click see more, they want to know who you are and how to get in touch with you. So if you haven't put your contact details at the bottom of your about section, you're going to lose them, because they're not going to, for want of a better phrase, they're not going to piss about looking at your LinkedIn and other places. So click see more, add a call to action. So mine basically says, here's a link to my calendar, here's my email address, 2 places, get in touch, etc. And it's all about, as with anything, any social media, as people look at your profile, whether it be on Facebook or whether it be on Twitter or whether it be your Instagram bio or whatever it is, reduce customer friction. Okay, so, and that's what the about section is all about. It's basically, this is what I do for a living, this is how I can help you, this is what you get from working with me. Obviously you need that by working with me, so therefore here's how you get in touch. And that could be anything. So if you go to my LinkedIn, you go to my about section, you can either send me an email or you can book some calendar time. What I will say is, it's, again, the URLs are not clickable in the about section, so people will have to copy and paste. So make it kind of quite obvious, you know, how they can get in touch with you. They can either copy and paste your email address or your calendar link, or you can put your mobile in there or your website address or whatever it may be. So finding your audience. On LinkedIn, I've got, this can sound like I'm bragging, and I'm definitely not, because they're still rookie numbers, but I've got about 3,500 connections. And I know most of them. And it's because, apart from the fact that I've been on LinkedIn for many years, I meet different people in different places. I hope that some people today will connect with me on LinkedIn, and then obviously we can start a conversation and etc. And it's all about that engagement rate. It's all about getting to know each other, starting conversations, etc. I never sell to anybody. I never jump into your DMs and say, you know, please buy my stuff, because that's not me, and I don't like it when people do it to me, so I don't do it to other people. But the important thing is that LinkedIn is the only place to curate your own audience. Every other social media platform, Clubhouse, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Snapchat, and any others, people have to follow you. People have to find you. LinkedIn is the only place where you can do outreach. You can find the audience that you want to find. And the search box in the top left of your LinkedIn, I'm pointing that way, but I don't know which way is top left because my screen's the other way around. But anyway, in the top left, wherever your left is, in the search box, you type whatever you are looking for. So if you are looking for handsome social media guy in Coventry, you know, I think that's only one, right? And I'll come up. But generally, if you search for, I don't know, business owner in Bethnal Green, or pharmacist in East London, or whatever. I used to live in Bethnal Green, by the way. I don't know. That's why I use that example. But whatever you are looking for, whoever your ideal client is, use the search box and search for them. And you can drill it down by either company name or people name, or, for example, second degree connections. I always recommend second degree connections. If you don't know the lingo, first degree connections are people who are already connected with you, and second degree connections are people who they are connected to, so that you have mutual connections. So use the search box, search for your audience, whoever your ideal clients are. Try and make it a bit specific. I mean, if you look for business owners in London, I mean, you're going to get millions of results, right? It's going to be totally ridiculous. And you can't connect to all of them, obviously. But do the search, look at the list, and then for the people that you want to connect to, send them a connection request and add a note if you want. Now, if you want, I don't always add a note, but if it's somebody that you really want to work with, have a look at their profile. Make sure you just something that they've said in their about section, or something that resonates with you in their headline kind of thing, and just send them a message, a very personalized message. Say, I'm reaching out to you. I want to connect to you because of this, this, and this. I've seen your profile, etc., etc. I would love it if we connect. And 9 times out of 10, people will connect with you because you've made that personal connection. Okay, so search for your ideal audience, connect with them, and send them a note. You can only send, I say only, it's quite a lot. You can only send up to 100 invites per day. I don't recommend that at all. Do not send out 100, particularly if you're sending out personal notes, because they're going to take you a whole week just to do 100, right? So send out a few at a time, and then start conversations with those people. Because you remember, when you send them a note, they will get that note, they will accept your connection request, and they might send a reply back to say, thanks for connecting, thanks for reading my profile, etc. I look forward to keeping in touch with you, etc. And then you kind of start that engagement. So when you post, they will see your posts, and when they post, you will see their posts, usually. And that's kind of how conversations start. So before you start searching, optimize your profile. Okay, so like I said, have a great headline, have a nice banner, have a nice profile picture, etc., etc. Because the one thing you don't want to do is when you search for an audience and they come and find you, as in they see your profile and they think, wow, that profile is terrible, this person's not really interested in their own work. You don't want them to kind of just click delete or click I don't know this person kind of thing. So send out a personal note, optimize your profile first. Whatever you do, don't worry about vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are numbers for the sake of numbers. Anybody can say, oh, look, I've got 10,000 followers, or my last post got 10,000 views, etc. The most important number in everybody's life, particularly in business owners' lives, is the number that's in your bank account. Okay, so the whole point of LinkedIn is to start a long content marketing strategy so that ultimately you get numbers in the bank. Okay, but it starts with a conversation. You think about the people that you buy from. I'm pretty sure that if I send you a message today and said, even before this presentation, if I send you a message saying, hey, I do social media, I think you should buy my social media services, guaranteed you will say, I don't think so, because I have no idea who the hell you are. Please get out of my life, kind of thing. So the same, that's how it works on LinkedIn. It's all about creating that relationship, talking to people, making sure that you know people and that they know you, etc. And they get to know what you do. Now, and this is how they get to know what you do. The 70-30 content rule. Essentially, it's sales versus engagement. Now, what I always recommend, and this is advice as opposed to instruction, but what I recommend is that 30% of your posts should be, this is what I sell, okay, the sales posts. Different people will tell you different things. Different LinkedIn trainers will tell you different things. Whereas LinkedIn a few years ago used to be about recruitment and CVs and people finding jobs, etc., then it kind of moved into stuffy suits, guys wearing ties, and not me, I mean other guys, kind of thing. Or talking to each other, talking about business and all that kind of stuff, etc. It's moved on from there now as well. It's more of a relationship building platform. So the 70% of your posts is essentially having conversations with one another. It should be, I mean, for those of you who are connected with me on LinkedIn, or those of you who will connect with me on LinkedIn, you will see that I post about all sorts of inane stuff. To be honest, when Diego Maradona passed away, I wrote a whole post about it, where I talk about the cup of tea I had in the morning, or taking my kid to nursery and all that kind of stuff, or lots of things which basically starts conversations with people. It's a human foible that we love talking about ourselves. It doesn't matter who you are, we're all ridiculously self-involved. It's just natural. So you ask somebody. I mean, you see, we're all in Facebook groups where somebody says, "Hey, what's your Facebook handle?" and everybody will respond, "Hey, this is my Facebook handle," etc. Whereas if you ask somebody, "Oh, what's your top tip for business?" They might answer. But generally, if you're selling something, you say, "This is my opinion." Nobody cares. No, everybody loves giving their opinion. So when 70% of your content should be asking questions, things that resonate with your audience, things that maybe you could be talking about Trump versus Biden. You could be talking about Brexit. You could talk about the vaccine. I don't necessarily talking about the vaccine because it brings out, regardless of whichever side you're on, it usually brings out the people who are nuts, basically, regardless of whatever you believe. But generally, maybe something less contentious. I don't know. Do you like tea or coffee? That kind of stuff. Do you prefer red sauce or brown sauce? That last way was a joke. Don't use red sauce or brown sauce as an engagement post. But generally, wherever you can, when you post about something, ask people questions, ask people to talk about themselves, but generally also offer, add commentary as well in terms of how you can apply this to kind of day-to-day life. And it could be anything. But 30% of your posts, there or thereabout, should be, this is what I do for a living. You should always tell people what you should do for a living. There's loads of LinkedIn trainers who will say, "Oh, you shouldn't sell on LinkedIn. You shouldn't tell people what you do," because it's all about engagement, etc. But how's anybody ever going to know what you actually do for a living if you don't tell them, right? So tell people, write a post. This is what I do for a living. This is who I am, etc. Now, remember, here's the important bit. Build trust, build authority, build relationships, okay? And in terms of the content rule, make sure that you don't forget to reciprocate. To give you an example, I have a time slot in my diary every morning. I spend 15 minutes every morning, 5 days a week, to go through, just scroll through my LinkedIn and just like and comment on posts that I want to like and comment, the posts that I stop and read, etc. Because it's just, apart from anything, it's good etiquette. But if you stop to read something, give it a like. If you can add some useful commentary, then put it in the comments. It's really good for engagement, really good for eyes on your profile, but it's really good for growing relationships. Timings. Now, this is almost a pre-COVID slide because even though I did this presentation after COVID, but you always, whenever you're going to post, think about your ideal clients, think about when they are online. So I know, I'm pretty sure all of us here are UK based. If you run a company where you only sell to Americans, don't post at 10 o'clock in the morning, because that would be useless. So post it when your customers are awake. So if you sell to American customers, post it, 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is. But generally, if the majority of your customers are UK based, post at UK times, okay? Think about your ideal clients, think about when they would be online. As a very general rule, it's 8 o'clock in the morning or around midday, because people check their phones in the morning before they start work, or they check their phones when they sit down for lunch. Basically, that's usually the 2 times I recommend posting. And I've put a question mark next to not Monday or Saturday. So pre-COVID, don't post on Monday, don't post on Saturday. During COVID, during a pandemic, you can post whenever you want, because we're all on our phones scrolling, etc. So it doesn't fully apply, but generally, Monday, everybody is gearing up for their work week. And Saturday, everybody is trying to forget their work week. So they're not necessarily on LinkedIn. And if they are, they don't want to read stuff where it says, "I'm a social media manager, please buy my stuff. Your social media, you need me," and all that kind of stuff. They don't care about that stuff, right? So Mondays and Saturdays are, if you are going to post on Mondays and Saturdays, make it a little bit more jovial, etc. Other stuff, like I said, make your photo professional. Make sure the keywords are exactly what you do. Now, this is really important in terms of search. Now, if you go to your LinkedIn profile, and as you scroll down under the About section, there's a little bit that says Dashboard. You're the only person that can see that dashboard. And on that dashboard, it will have 3 numbers. And the numbers are who's viewed your profile, how many views of your last post, and how many search appearances you featured in over the last 7 days. The search appearances one, if you click on that, right at the bottom, it tells you what people are searching for. So for example, I used to run a restaurant, and sometimes people are still searching for restaurant manager, and I will still feature in those searches. But thankfully, the majority of searches, people are finding me in business owner, social media manager, social media specialist, whatever it may be. So in your about section and in your experience section, which is where your company is, make sure you use the right keywords in terms of exactly what you do for a living. If you are I apologize in advance for this terrible analogy, but if you are for example, a bin man, don't put you are a waste disposal kind of strategist or something like that. Just put, yeah, I'm a bin man, because generally as humans, that's what we search for, right? So I know that was a terrible example, but basically the Ron Seal marketing strategy, exactly what it says in the tin, just tell people what you do, make sure you use the right keywords. Now, make your relevant experience the top one. So whatever you want people to know. I know there's some people here who may have a day job and they have a side hustle in inverted commas in terms of what they do. It's your side hustle in inverted commas that's the important thing, because that's where you want to make money, that's where you want to grow, etc. So if you work for a company, unless the boss has specifically written into your contract that you should be using LinkedIn for that particular role, you can put whatever you want on your LinkedIn. So, and you can make it as private as you want. If you don't want your boss to be on there, just get rid of them, right? Or block them, which is even better. They'll only know if they come to your profile, and then they'll say, why have you blocked me? You say, oh, I didn't know, it must have been an accident. But anyway, to make the relevant, the thing that you want to be known for has to be the element at the top. So if you have 2 or 3 businesses, for example, or two or three things that you do for a living, make the relevant one the top one in the experience section. Turn on testimonials and ask for them. Hint, hint. If no, I'm just kidding. If you have, switch your testimonials on. If somebody has done a good job for you, go and give them a testimonial. Go onto LinkedIn, go to their profile, write them a testimonial. Sometimes if you've worked together with somebody on a project, they'll reciprocate and they'll give you a testimonial back. If anybody goes to I had a testimonial earlier this week, which was probably one of the best testimonials I've ever had. If anybody wants to go to my LinkedIn, it's right at the bottom, you can read it. But basically, ask people for testimonials. If you know you've done a good job for somebody, ask them for testimonials. If you know you've done a bad job for somebody, whatever you do not ask them for a testimonial. Although, having said that, testimonials always come into your inbox first, and then you get to decide whether you want it on your profile or not. So if somebody does write your bad testimonial, you can just get rid of it. But ask for testimonials, and it's really good. It's really good for social proof. I can sit here till I'm blue in the face and telling you that I am the greatest social media manager you will ever meet. And it's unlikely that you're going to believe me. But if you go to my testimonials, and if other people have said that, I mean, they haven't used those exact words, but if other people have said that I'm good, you might think, oh, actually, this guy knows what he's talking about. So testimonials, brilliant for social proof, okay? And then the final thing, post consistently, but also engage. So my usual recommendation is post somewhere between 1 and 7 times a week. An optimum will be somewhere between 3 and 5 times a week. 3 is fine. If you post on, say, I don't know, a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Sunday, for example. But remember, always reciprocate, always be social. It's not a broadcasting channel. You're not Trevor McDonald. Don't go on there, say something and leave. Okay. So basically you go on there, engage with others, talk to others, be social with others, like stuff, comment on stuff, etc., particularly for ideal clients. Okay. So where your ideal clients are, if they're posting things, just go and just type, oh, this is a great post. I like this post. Here's my commentary. I'd like to add some information to this. Or I'd like to offer an alternative view on this, or something like that. So always engage with others. The evergreen content. Now, this is your homework for today. No matter how long you've been on LinkedIn, don't always assume that everybody knows who you are. One of the things about the LinkedIn algorithm is that, well, first things first, nobody understands algorithms, okay, regardless of what they tell you. But some of the things I understand about algorithms is that not everybody sees all of your content all of the time. The only person that ever sees 100% of your content is you, okay? So don't always assume people know what you do. Don't always assume that people are, heading to your profile and saying, oh, look, I'll click see more on his about section. I'll send a calendar link. They don't do that, okay? So here's your homework. You tell people now. You can do this either as one post, or you can do this as 6 different posts, or etc. What I recommend is like 3 posts. So now I'm going to answer these questions, and I want you to go away and answer these questions on your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so my name is Gus Bandel. I am a digital marketing specialist. I am very passionate about helping my fellow business owners. I used to run a business before. Social media was ridiculously hard, so I decided to make a business at helping others to do it, and also utilizing my 25 years of experience. Who do I do it for? Business owners between the ages of roughly about 35 and 45, generally based anywhere in the UK, but generally people who don't have a team but need a marketing specialist behind them. My unique selling point is that I offer a contract-free mix and match pay-as-you-go service for marketing, either training or management. And what makes me the authority? 25 years of experience, a degree, 2 postgraduate qualifications, hundreds of satisfied clients. It's not an exaggeration, etc., etc. So, and that's for those of you who go to my LinkedIn profile. You go to my featured section. You'll see there's a photo which is all kind of bright and colorful, etc. If you click on that, I've essentially answered this. It's basically like, this is what I do, and in there I put, I also support Liverpool FC, and I love doner kebabs, and I love go-karting and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit personal as well. It's because LinkedIn loves personal content. I could tell you till I'm blue in the face what I do for a living, but actually, sometimes you just want to get to know people. The amount of DMs I had where people saying, "Oh, we should go to a Liverpool match together," or "Oh, I love doner kebabs as well," etc. And I don't drink. I gave up alcohol like 5 years ago, so I enjoy doner kebabs sober. I know, weird, right? So your homework for today is go to LinkedIn, tell people exactly who you are, tell people exactly what you do. And it's just, garner engagement. Okay. Just tell people and you can respond. Well, the way I put it is, now I've broken the ice. Now you should tell me something about you. Okay. So, very quickly, here's the sales, hashtag buy my stuff. I do power hours, strategy, corporate training, content marketing packages, all sorts of stuff, etc. If you want to connect with me, it's mguru UK. You can go to Google and type in mguru UK. You'll find everything about me: my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my memberships, my inside leg measurement, all sorts of stuff. But generally, if you go to LinkedIn, it's linkedin.com/in/mguru UK. And I'd love to obviously have any conversations with you about LinkedIn or any other social media. So I think that's me. So I hope that was, I know it was a quick blast through, but obviously I wanted to make sure that we have plenty of time for Q&A. So
superb.
If anybody has any questions, thanks, Sophie.
Thanks, Gus. I want to throw it open to the floor. So if you've got questions, please just unmute yourself and come in. If you're having any tech issues and you want to ask a question, do use that chat button and I will read it out for you.
There is a question in the chat. What about video on LinkedIn and how long it should be? Now, the LinkedIn is quite weird, right? In terms of other platforms such as Facebook are brilliant for video. LinkedIn, not so much unless you have LinkedIn Live and all that kind of stuff. What I would recommend is, first things first, is if you're going to create a video, make sure it has subtitles, because 80% of videos are viewed with the sound down. So if you don't add subtitles, it basically means that you're losing 80% of your audience. So that's the first thing. And there's loads of, you just go into Google, type in subtitling tools, and there's loads. There's rev.com and Capwing and QuickCC and loads of others. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, in terms of length, I would always keep it short, as short as possible. Facebook is slightly different because obviously if you have a 3-minute video on Facebook, Facebook love it and they'll show it to more people. That's because they can stick an advert in the middle of it. When we're watching videos on Facebook and you go through and it says, adverts about to start, and you think, oh man, it's because they love the longer videos. Whereas on LinkedIn, it doesn't work like that. So what I recommend is, if you're going to add a video, keep it short, keep it really short and sharp, but add some text with it as well. So if you can add a comment, say, this video is about this, this, and this, I'd love you to watch it and, give me your opinion, kind of thing. And then it encourages people to watch the video. So that's what I recommend. What I would say is LinkedIn is great for long form content. LinkedIn in particular loves long form text content. But videos are good, photos are good, etc.
Brilliant. We've got lots more coming in, Gus. So the next one is, what are the advantages of articles over posts? Articles stay around, posts disappear over time. Should you take some good posts after a while and reload as an article? Do you delete poor articles?
Don't delete poor articles. The difference with articles and posts are, you're absolutely right, they stay around at the top of your profile forever, whereas posts obviously go through a feed as it would. What I recommend is repurposing content that you might have elsewhere. So let's say, for example, you've written a blog on your website. Let's say it's a 10 paragraph, 1,000-word blog, right? You take that blog, excuse me, you take about 2/3 of it and create a LinkedIn article. And then from that LinkedIn article at the bottom, you basically say, if you want to read the rest of this, you should go to my website. That encourages web traffic as well. Then what you should do is write a post on your LinkedIn connecting to the article to say, hey, I've just posted this article on LinkedIn. You should read it. Because when you post an article, nobody sees it. Generally, it won't tell people, oh, look, Gus has posted an article. What you have to do is create a separate post to tell people you've written that article. The difference between articles and posts is the fact that you can, A, add more content. You can add photos, you can add external links. But like you say, it's something that stays there forever. So I wouldn't delete, and I wouldn't delete poor articles. My last article I wrote last year, and I think I got like 6 views, and it's still there. But weirdly, somebody somewhere will read it. So, because, you might as well just leave it there.
Okay, fantastic. And how important are hashtags? And how do you suggest that they should be used?
So hashtags are important from both your company page and your personal profile. So from your company page, you can follow up to 3 hashtags. From your personal profile, you can follow, I think, it's more or less unlimited, but you can follow like 10, 15, 20 hashtags. When you write a post, I recommend using 3 hashtags. LinkedIn's own recommendation is between 3 and 9. I recommend between 3 and 5, staying around the 3 mark. When I use hashtags, I normally have 2 related to the post and 1 which may be a personal hashtag, which is mine, hashtag MGuruUK. So if I write a post about social media and digital marketing, it'll be hashtag social media, hashtag digital marketing, hashtag another about my post. Whatever hashtags you use, make sure that they're relevant to the post. So for example, if you're posting about the lasagna you had last night, don't post hashtag, I don't know, dog food, or hashtag I drive a Fiesta or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It has to be related. It's terrible examples, but make sure that hashtags are related to what you're actually posting about, and use 3. That's what I recommend.
Brilliant. Okay. And Asari says he asks people for a virtual coffee, which is a great lead magnet for him. Have you got any other tips as to how you can get to speak with prospects?
Excuse me. Me personally, and this is just personal opinion, okay? If somebody that I've just connected to send me a message to say, let's jump on a Zoom or let's have a virtual coffee or something like that, more often than not, I'd probably ignore it, because I think to myself, well, either you're trying to sell something to me, or I don't know you, so I wouldn't want to partake. For me, it's more about conversation and getting to know people. And this is why I said, if you connect with somebody and send them a note along the lines of, hey, I noticed you said this on your profile, or I really loved your last post, it was really good, and I want to connect with you to read more posts, that kind of stuff. It's a lot more personable, and then that's where the conversation starts. Hopefully they kind of reply to you, then you kind of say, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, this is what I do for a living. And that's how the conversation starts. So me personally, I wouldn't go straight in with it, but obviously there's there's different ways. The way I start with prospects is that I basically mention, because like I said, humans are selfish, right? We love people talking about us, and we love talking about ourselves. So if I say to you, oh, I checked out your headline and it said this, or I checked out your about section and I agree with this, etc., people love kind of saying, oh yeah, it's kind of like telling people they're doing good at something. So that's how I start conversations with prospects, and then carry it on either in the DMs, or I engage with their content. So the next time that they post, I go to their content and just write something like, oh, this is, I like this post, and here's my opinion on this, or what, whatever, etc. It's all about staying in people's minds. Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you, Gus.
I hope that helps.
In the profile, is it more professional to have bullet points or full sentences?
In mine, I have both, but I would recommend sentences, which is, I know that very much sounds like do as I say and not as I do, but I'm changing mine. I've got to get rid of those bullet points. But you do want to tell people exactly what you do in bullet points. You could tell people that, but generally it's sentences, because you take at the expense of sounding like a copywriter or Stephen King or something like that. It's about taking the reader on a journey. Okay, so the journey is, this is what you need, this is what you're failing with, this is how I can help, this is what I deliver, please call me. And it's that journey kind of thing. So whether you write it in sentences or bullet points, the thing with bullet points is people read, oh, they do this, this, and this, etc., and then it gives them choice paralysis because they're reading too many bullet points. So if you take readers through a journey through sentences, they get to the end and they're like, right, I'm going to call this guy, that's exactly what I need. So that's what I recommend. So yeah, and just I'm getting rid of the bullet points on mine, so I will at some point.
Okay, thanks, Gus. Lou has posed a really fascinating question. What's the best way to build trust with an audience when I've changed my job 3 times in the last 6 months due to COVID and redundancy? Great question, Lou.
That is a great question, and the constant with any social media is you. Okay, so regardless of what you do, if your first job was a dog groomer and then 3 months later you became a car washer and then 3 months later you became a heart surgeon or whatever, again, terrible analogies, but the point is the constant is you. People want to get to know you, so you kind of, like I said, at the top of my profile, I tell people, hey, I support Liverpool FC and I like doner kebabs and all that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't change regardless of what I do for a living. People will always buy from you. And not that I'm comparing anybody to these people, but just think about Jeff Bezos, the face of Amazon, and Richard Branson, the face of Virgin, and Bill Gates, the face of Microsoft, Mark Zuckerberg, the face of Facebook. The reason they put themselves at the front is because it gives the organization a face. So whatever you do for a living, that's secondary, right? The important thing is that if people like you and they like your face and they can trust you, regardless of whatever you do for a living, that's who they want to know. That's who they get to know. So always use your profile and tell people, say, well, I got made redundant over here, or I got COVID over here, or I've changed my job and this is what I do for a living now, etc. Because it brings me on to a next point about the audience that you have on LinkedIn. You may change jobs and you may have found audiences in different jobs. The audience may change, but the people that they know don't change. So for example, I'm a social media guy, whereas before I used to work in, well, I've always worked in marketing, but before I used to run a pub, and before that I worked for a county council, and before that I worked in the motorsport sector. So I know loads of engineers and all that kind of stuff. They may not be my ideal clients today, but they know people that are. And the beauty of LinkedIn is that it's still a very open network. So if I post something and you like it, all my network see your name and all your network see my name and all that kind of stuff. So it's about the tentacles that go through the network. So don't ever worry about deleting audiences or if they're not interested, etc., because the person that they are invested in is you and not what you do for a living. So it's about building that trust.
So really, I hope you don't mind me answering on your behalf, Lou, but I think that was a really lovely answer. Do come in, Lou, if you want to.
Thank you for that.
No worries at all. Just going back to there was a question. I don't have premium. Does that stop me connecting? No, it doesn't. I don't have premium. Everything I talked about today is all on the free version. Okay, I don't have premium. I don't have Sales Navigator and all that kind of stuff. You can't. The difference with premium and anything else is the fact that you can't see your insights over the last 90 days. You can only see like the last 5 people that viewed your profile and all this other kind of stuff. But also you can't send messages willy-nilly to anybody you want. You have to send a message with a connection request. So you can't just send messages to all and sundry kind of thing. So that's the only difference. So you're more than welcome to get premium. I'm not for or against it either way, but everything I'm talking about today is the kind of the free stuff.
Fantastic. All right, I am going to take a couple more questions and then we'll open up the room to some networking if that's okay with everyone. But Ian says, how long should you wait before deleting an invite which has not been accepted? And how many invites can you send to others you don't know without being sort of restricted from doing that?
Sure. So, great question. You can send up to 100 per day. What I normally do, and this is why I don't send 100 per day. It's, apart from anything, it's going to be it's very spammy, and you won't be able to keep an eye on your kind of contacts. What I recommend is probably sending like 3 or 4 a week, and that's what I do, to be honest, because it's all about that slow build and all about making sure that you have enough time to see their content, engage with their content, start DM conversations and all that kind of stuff, etc. In terms of the deleting, I delete after 2 weeks. So